Hi, I'm Rick Allen, joined by Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton, and welcome to NASCAR Classics on NBCSN. November 2004, Homestead-Miami Speedway, the final race of the first ever chase for the Sprint Cup. 5 drivers entered with a mathematical shot at the championship. Points leader Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Mark Martin. And Steve, you were the car chief for the 24 team. Did you guys think you had a shot at the title going in?
Well, we absolutely did. We thought we had a shot. This new chase format in 2004 kind of got everyone stacked together. And by far, the closest 5 teams have ever had a chance at the title going into Homestead. So the pressure was amped up. As the car chief, you know, it was my responsibility to make sure nothing fell off, which was even more weighted when the points were this close. But it was an exciting finish. It didn't quite fall our way, but it's one of those weekends I would never forget.
And I remember going to that drivers' meeting and seeing the tension on everybody's face, the crew chiefs, the drivers. All weekend long, there was more like anxiety in the garage. It was just it was a chase. It was new. All these things going on. And then to make it better, it's a late start. You know, it's like a 5:30 start. So all those guys got to worry about it all day long. And you could see that, and you could feel it in that drivers' meeting. There's a lot of anxiety.
Well, Kurt Busch won the pole, but it was anything but a cruise to the title. We look back now at the 2004 season finale from Homestead.
And here we go with the starting lineup for today's Ford 400.
Kurt Busch, championship leader on the pole. On the outside is Greg Biffle.
And that's a statement. He did that on the second lap, which is tough to do. And like you said, Alan, he went out and did that, put it on the line, and that's impressive.
Yeah, how easy to crash a car on a qualifying lap when you're hanging it out, right?
Yes, sir.
There's Jeff Gordon in row 3.
And my thought is, Greg Biffle, is he going to fight Kurt Busch on that first lap? Let's ask him. Greg Biffle, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Got you, BP.
You know, if that 97 car leads the first lap, that's 5 points. How much resistance are you going to give him?
Well, he's my teammate, and through thick and thin, I gotta give the courtesy, work with him here, give him 5 points. I got a really fast race car today, and I owe it to the National Guard and my team to lead as much of the race as I can. But we're going to give him a little bit on the first lap here.
Well, all right. Good luck today.
Well, there you go. That's the importance of having a good teammate and being up front.
I mean, just think if one of the Hendrick cars are on the outside or one of the DEI cars on the outside, Kurt Busch would have to really race for that first lap.
And turn 1, lap 1 is always such a tense time. It's got to be a little relief to Kurt if he and Greg Biffle have had this conversation already.
Right. It takes the pressure off the drivers in the front row right now, knowing what the other guy is going to do. And you say, hey, look, you know, I'm going to take the inside and let me get clear and get that first lap behind me. And like you said, it's going to be real busy behind them.
You've been watching the starting lineup come by. We have not seen yet the second place driver in the championship.
And we're not going to see him in this row.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, not even in this row. But back in 39th, his worst start in his career is Jimmy Johnson.
But, you know, like I said earlier, he can get up to the front. He's got a good race car. He's got a good race team. He just has to be careful, get through it. But it'd be great for him to have a yellow come out in about 15, 20 laps. So all those cars he passes, he can just race that mark because the leaders are going to take off. And they're going to be a lot faster than the guys in the back racing traffic.
Mike Bliss with an engine change, Jeff Burton with an engine change, Casey Mears with a backup car. After a qualifying crash, they dropped to the end of the field, and you see a lot of cars here trying to make this 43-car Ford 400 grid.
And the most notable was Kyle Petty.
Final stories from pit road before we begin the final race of the year. Here's Marty Snyder.
Alan, it is hard to put into perspective what goes into a championship run, but consider just this race for Kurt Busch. This 97 team started working on this car at the 1st of September. They have tested here just for their teammate Matt Kenseth only, so the test could be more private and the information would not get out. 2 months of effort into this race car and a year of hard work comes down to the next 3.5 hours. Can they win the championship? Dave?
You know, Marty, at the end of the day, a statistical tie at the top of the standing is possible. And with 5 wins this season, Jeff Gordon cannot afford that because both Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have more wins than he does this season. And the first tiebreaker, if there's a tie, is number of wins. Jeff Gordon can't get even today. He's got to get ahead. Matt?
at days, and Jimmy Johnson could be the 27th driver to win the championship. Much like his mentor and co-car owner Jeff Gordon, if he pulls it off, it'll take place in his 3rd full season in Cup. When Chad Knaus formed this team 3.5 years ago, he used the 2014 as his championship model, and it has paid off. During the week, these teams park their cars side by side in the same shop. Today on pit road, they're parked side by side. And you saw Chad Knaus earlier give Jeff Gordon the thumbs up, giving his team a pep talk. It is a total team effort here in the Hendrick camp today.
Just like what we talked about, we'll go out there, have a good time. We've got 267 laps, I believe, to get this thing up to the front. I don't care if it takes every last one of them. That's when it needs to be there. Go out there, be nice and smooth, have good pit stops, relax, have a great time, buddy. This is the last time you guys are going to get to race, any of you guys, till Daytona. So let's go out there and have some fun, go out in style.
Chad Knaus, crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, the number 2 man in the chase. There's 1 driver, 1 crew chief, 7 guys over the wall, all the people you see in the pits and all the people you don't see back in the shop and back in the front office. That's what makes a successful race team. In the racing business, it's not about the paycheck, it's about the payoff, the championship, and that's what's on the line today. Never has going around in circles been able to take a team so far as it will today. Alan?
This is going to be great.
Signal has been given to the field. Next time by.
Now, one story we want to update you on that involves one of the championship-eligible drivers, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Driver and his spotter have a relationship. The spotter up on top of the grandstand talking to the driver, coaching him, helping him through situations on the racetrack. Earnhardt Jr.'s spotter has been Steve Meal, but he's been suspended by NASCAR for this weekend's race. He was spotting for his son Shane in a Craftsman Truck Series race here on Friday and was openly critical over his team's radio, very openly critical of a NASCAR decision. NASCAR officials felt he was very disrespectful and suspended him for the weekend.
So, Danny Culler, the longtime spotter in NASCAR Nextel Cup racing, has stepped in. He is spotted for Dale Earnhardt. He is spotted for Kerry Earnhardt, and he's very proud now that he is today will make all 3 Earnhardts he is spotted for.
So that's one story involving Dale Earnhardt Jr. Check out NBCSports.com while you're watching the race today. BP will look at the mental challenge Kurt Busch must overcome if he's to win the championship today. And I've made up a little cheat sheet you can keep with you. Some of the things I've got in front of me on the best and worst possible point finishes that all the top 10 drivers can have, and some other numbers on the day like the tiebreakers and so on. NBCSports.com.
All the things I talked about, they're past Kurt Busch. All he's got to worry about right now is to try to win the race.
Okay, so you can still go get my cheat sheet.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you did the math on that, so what good is that?
I had somebody double check it, okay?
Okay.
Well, here we go. Bet there's more than a few butterflies in those race cars right now.
But this is what they've been waiting for. They want to get this thing going. As soon as that green flag drops, butterflies will be gone.
267 laps, 400 miles. The Ford 400 is underway.
And there you see Greg Biffle giving the 97 car plenty of room getting into turn 1. Oh, we got trouble already in turn 1.
Cars in the wall. It's toward the back of the field. Was Jimmy Johnson in it? It's Mike Bliss. And is that Hermie Sadler in the 0-2?
Yes, it is.
Jimmy Johnson got through. Wow.
Well, there's one lucky episode he got through.
Mike Bliss and Hermie Sadler were at the back of the grid. This was almost at the very tail end of the field.
Down on NASCAR rules, when the caution flag comes out, the field is frozen. So Kurt, at about 50 miles per hour, crosses the start-finish line as the leader, receiving 5 bonus points.
That'll be the easiest 5 points he gets today.
What happened? Turn 1, lap 1. It's Bliss coming at you left of the screen.
Hermie just goes around, looks like.
No, he made contact with somebody. Somebody hit him in the left front, and he lost control.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was way up high going into turn 1. There were 3 abreast. There was no room, and it looks like Bliss just spun it to avoid Hermie.
Jimmy Johnson. That's the danger lane you're in when you start in the back of the pack. Caution's out early at Homestead. Back at Homestead, back under green after a couple of quick cautions. To start the Ford 400, Greg Biffle is the race leader.
And just think how relieved that Kurt Busch is. He's seen 2 crashes already and has been way behind him.
Unfortunately, a guy that's been back there, not too crazy about being back there.
Kevin
Jimmy
Harvick
Johnson.
taking 7th place from Ricky Rudd, and here comes Jeff Gordon again.
Heath Newman, the 12 car.
And that's for 3rd place. Now Kurt Busch sees that bright orange hood in his rearview mirror.
That's sliding up there. Casey Kane.
That's not a shock. Casey Kane just, of course, I don't think he wanted to be that high this early.
Gave up a spot to Bobby Labonte. That's 5th place. Bobby's into now. Casey back to 6th. Jimmy Johnson on pit road under this last caution. Bill?
Well, Jimmy Johnson, Alan, started 39th, his worst starting spot in 111 Cup races. He has pitted twice, once for fuel. The last time he was on pit road for 4 tires fuel and to repair a little damage he got on the right rear of the car. He's not really thrilled about starting at the back of the pack. Listen to him talking to Chad Canals.
Just slide your tires? Sure, I don't think that I did, but get me the hell out of from being back here, man. Not a lot I can do right now, man.
Jimmy Johnson's going to have to race his way out of that poor position as the 24, his teammate Jeff Gordon, battles with championship leader Kurt Busch.
2nd place, Jeff Gordon. And Ryan Newman in the 12 going to try and slip Kurt Busch back another spot.
Hey, Matt, this 24 car is looking pretty good right now.
He sure is, BP. During the final practice session, Jeff came on the radio and said, I have a friction grind feel in the steering wheel. They changed everything, and I mean everything, under this race car in the chassis department, the steering box, the lower, the uppers, transmission, you name it. They changed everything, not taking a chance that they might miss something that could knock them out of this championship. So far, Jeff has said nothing on the radio. Nothing is good.
Nothing is good. And his car's working good, and he's focused. A lot of cars sliding up the racetrack. It seems like a lot of guys are getting into the corner maybe just a little bit hard, and boy, when the car takes off, it really takes off.
And right now, the biggest fan that Greg Biffle has on earth is Kurt Busch, because he wants him to lead. Don't let that 24 car get up there, lead a lap, and maybe lead the most laps and get the maximum points. Stay in front, Greg Biffle.
We'll check this a lot through the day. Points as they run. Kurt Busch, slim gap over Jeff Gordon. Now, if you're not familiar with the way that the points are passed out and the championship is awarded in NASCAR, there's a scale of points that goes down from 180 all the way down to 34. The winner of the race gets 180 points plus, obviously, if he won, he led a lap, he gets 5 bonus points for leading a lap. Then it breaks down. Second gets 170, then it's 5 points back to 6th, then 4 points per position 6th to 11th, then 3 points per position from 11th on down to 43rd, plus 1 more bonus.
5 points to the car, the team that leads the most laps.
So the max a guy can get in the race is 190. The minimum is 34. Kurt Busch back to 4th place. Bill?
Driving, not talking. That's probably a good sign. This is a brand new race car. They did test here. This is its first race. Crew Chief Jimmy Fennig knows it's a very long 400 miles. Don't look for any panic. We're fine right now.
Kurt's state of mind throughout this weekend, it's been kind of hard to read. He seemed pretty calm on the outside, but I just can't, you can't believe he didn't have the big butterflies.
No, you definitely have the big butterflies. The biggest problem in his situation is his to give away. Everybody else has got nothing to lose, and they can go for the win, and hey, go for it. But Kurt Busch has got it to give away, and that has got to be gut-wrenching. Bill?
I think you're right, Wally, and Kurt's put a really good face on this week. We talked to him Friday morning and then again Saturday morning, off camera and then on camera. On camera, smooth, very eloquent, able to convey his feelings. But before and after the interviews, he was very cautious, very tentative, almost too quiet to believe that's really Kurt Busch, so you know it was playing with his mind.
Yeah, the pressure on these guys has been incredible the last few weeks, and you know this. This is huge.
I mean, Friday morning, when the cars are going through inspection, just before practice, you go by the 97 car, he must have had 20 photographers there, all wanting that picture of Kurt Busch talking to Jimmy Fennig. Kurt Busch by his car.
Kurt right now running in 4th spot after leading the opening lap of the race. Greg Biffle out in front. Marty, what do you got for us?
Trying to do the best to help his teammate out, trying to keep Jeff Gordon behind him. And he came on the radio, said this car is so good, we should have given it to Kurt Busch to race this weekend. I think this car is going to win the race.
Well, that might be a stretch, giving my best car away.
Yeah, Greg said he owes it to his sponsors to try and end the day with the W. Early going here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Trouble here at Homestead for the championship leader, Kurt Busch.
Right front flat. You heard it from the man, Kurt Busch.
And he's on the apron of the racetrack, Kurt. Not too fast because you can't control it. Bill?
Spotter tells the crew, coming to you just as fast as you can blink your eye.
Oh, and he loses the wheel. Wow. Or loses a tire.
And he just missed clobbering the end of that wall.
That's going to be a caution. That's actually good luck for him.
Long way to go, though, to get to his pit stall, the #1 stall, all the way at the end of pit road. They are ready for him. They are on the wall.
That's the wheel in there, isn't it?
Did the lug nuts come off?
It looks like the whole wheel came off.
And they're grinding that suspension, dragging it down the pit lane while he's running there.
Let's see what comes off. The center. There's the center. He just took off of the wheel.
Wow.
And you know what? I think the tire's still going. Over there. I believe that he stayed on the lead lap.
He's out ahead of the pace car, Benny.
Watch if that tire turns. I believe the whole wheel came off. It just busted right out of the center.
What causes that?
I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, the center is gone. What normally causes that is loose lug nuts. The thing working back and forth.
But he never complained about a vibration. That is really strange. And he did stay on the lead lap.
Wonder what damage he might have done with all that stuff dragging down pit road, though. Brake rotors.
Yeah, you got
tie rod ends.
There's a lot of things. Exactly. You got a big, heavy race car that's just grinding all those pieces as you're trying to work your way into the pits.
Run the lead lap. You can pit this time.
So now Kurt's back in 28th place, and there's the championship picture all of a sudden.
Hey, we've been saying it all along. It can change at any second.
Was gonna blow, dude. I just had that feeling. It was vibrating in here.
Okay, there he did say it was vibrating.
Loose, but it had.
So he did notice it.
I think loose lug nuts was the culprit there.
That's when he talked about, remember when he went back out after they pitted, that's when he talked about, I don't like the way the right front feels.
Wow.
Here they come to pit road. Stops at lap 94, Marty.
Your leader, Greg Biffle Allen, said maybe we can free it up a little bit on this stop. He will be top of your screen. What they're going to do is a half pound out of the left rear tire and a half around the wedge. 4 tires, small changes for the 16 team. They're very happy, just a little bit tight. Matt?
Jeff Gordon had to pull around the 12 of Newman. You can see the orange tape on the pit box. That was where they put the sign to help the 48, 4 feet back from where they normally have it. Track bar and wedge to help the tightness, Bill.
48 car just a little bit tight. Kurt Busch pulls way up in his pit stall. That will help Jimmy Johnson, who's pitted behind him. Johnson leaves behind him. Now they go to work on the 97 of Busch. They've already changed the right sides. They changed the right sides again, work on the right front fender. Then they come around to the lefts and put on the left side. So Kurt was aware that right front was bothering him. Then it went. Now they pull the fender, the sheet metal away from that right front tire. Kurt very calm, very patient on the radio. They're going to try and beat it out with a hammer. They've got a tape bandage ready to slap it up there on the right front if they need it. They want to make sure that sheet metal is not rubbing against that tire when he goes back out on the racetrack. Now the question is going to be what caused that.
And Bill, they got to be concerned that the fender doesn't grab too much air as it goes by and act as a parachute.
Kurt Busch's chance to win this championship almost came to a smashing end against the end of pit wall.
Watch how close he gets to the entrance of pit wall here. Wheel leads right here.
What was it? A foot? No more than a foot.
I would say inches on that one.
I'll bet the under there.
Yeah.
Man.
But Kurt stayed on the lead lap. He's back in 28th place with a chance to rally. It's not over. He's just got a hole to dig out of. By the way, Marty Schneider made a great point to us during commercial from down on pit road. He said if that wheel had not gone out on the racetrack from Kurt's car, then the caution probably wouldn't have come out. He'd have gone a lap down making the tire change.
Exactly, or more.
So I guess now the question is how much damage?
That's the key. How much damage has he done? Is the car still driving as well as it did before the tire came off?
We have a camera on Kurt. We'll keep an eye on him. We have cameras on Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon as well in all moments throughout this race. Also watching closely Mark Martin and Dale Jr., the 5 contenders in this chase for the championship. Gordon lost a little bit of ground just before that last caution. Now he's got some ground to make up if they successfully adjusted that car.
Making some up right there. Just went past Harvick.
So I put Gordon to 4th, Tony Stewart to 3rd.
And Jeff Gordon in that 24 car just closes in right on the back bumper of Tony Stewart.
So do we think that Gordon knows what's happened to the 97?
Oh, yeah.
The way he's driving, he knows, because he appears to be more aggressive now than ever.
Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin locked up in a fight for position. Johnson is 7th, Martin is 8th. And there's Kurt.
He's got to go through what Jimmy Johnson went through earlier today.
Trying to work his way back through that traffic. Bill, what's he saying? Is the car okay?
He hasn't said anything since they went back to green. But I want to show you something, Benny. This is a tire, a wheel down here in the 97 pit. This part right here, this flat part in the center of the wheel, minus the lug nuts, this part is what they took off the car, only there was a chunk of it missing. It's like a donut that somebody took a bite out of. Now, that piece that they're missing is actually on their pit box here on pit road. Jimmy Fenning has it wrapped in a towel and has his foot on it, laying on the floorboard of their pit box. This was his conversation with Kurt Busch after they got the car back out on the track.
The wheel was tight. I think the wheel broke, but it don't show any signs of that wheel like he didn't have the lug nuts tight, Kurt. But the wheel just broke. 10-4. I guess we get to buy all new wheels next year. Yeah, we do every year anyway. Well, maybe we'll buy new wheels starting at Loudon for the final 10 next year.
And that's Kurt Busch. He gets a lot of flack for the way he talks to his crew, but he has a sense of humor and a wit you have to come to appreciate. I talked to Jimmy Fenning, his crew chief, about this morning. He says that's the kind of athlete you want in your car. You watch any other sport, these athletes get upset because they're not doing perfectly. That's the guy he wants up on his wheel.
You know, and I got to believe Jimmy Fenning that the studs are not injured on that the lug nuts were in fact tight, as we see Mark Martin trying to pass Jimmy Johnson. If those lug nuts were loose, it would have ground up those studs, right? And there has been a lot of work repairing that. Marty?
BP, this is the part of the run where Mark Martin's car is very good. It takes off well, but the thing Mark wanted, it got too tight too early for Mark in the run. So they made air pressure and a wedge adjustment on the last stop, trying to get Mark a little bit looser, but you can see he's a little bit faster than Jimmy Johnson right now.
So Mark up to 7th place and Jimmy back to 8th. Meantime, let's check on Jeff Gordon. He's running 4th, Matt.
Alan, to answer BP's question, Jeff Gordon came on the radio when he saw the caution. So why are they throwing the caution? There's nothing on the racetrack. Robbie Loomis quietly said, it's the tire from the 97. That's all they told him. He said, oh, this car has been tight all day. They went back on the air pressures, BP, trying to make this car freer in the center of the corner for Gordon.
That's a concern that most teams have had right there. The car does not want to turn properly, wants to continue going straight ahead.
And that's a problem because there's a wall there.
Yeah.
So Jeff Gordon running in 4th place now and leading the championship as they run in the race. But we got a long way to go. Our Wendy's race menu. The championship trophy will be passed out in a couple of weeks at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City. See the award ceremony live on TNT Friday night, December 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then a recap of the award ceremony on NBC December 5th at 2 Eastern Time.
Tony Stewart taking 2nd spot from Ryan Newman.
And Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, passed all those cars to get the next car behind Greg Biffle. But Jarrett is 2 laps down.
Let's check those championship standings as we approach just past, actually, 150 miles in the race. How about that? See, Kurt's not out of it. He's got a lot of time to try and get back to the front as well. The drama's going to build to this one right until the very last lap. Greg Biffle leads. It has been a day for the 5 drivers chasing the Nextel Cup Championship.
Lap 1 spin out. 0 car, Mike Bliss. 0-2, Hermie Sadler, but Jimmy Johnson able to get through.
And Johnson had to dodge another one just 5 laps later. And this one got a little close for comfort.
Yeah, Kenny Schrader gave him a little love tap in the right rear fender, but no damage. Mark Martin had a moment here. Got very loose. Saved it, though.
Then Kurt Busch running in 3rd place at lap 91.
Has the right front wheel brake. Actually, it broke off, and he almost ran into the end of pit wall.
I checked that. He was running in 2nd at the time that happened.
Did you guys check all those wheels after we had that first problem?
Yeah, all the wheels were looking good.
Yeah, I got the same problem again with my right front, I believe. I mean, it's too hard to say. I don't know. You know, there's too much going on today. I say leave it. Just never mind. Just omit what I just said.
After that conversation, his crew chief Jimmy Fennick said, look, we've checked all the wheels. They all look fine. That's why they stayed out under this caution. So these championship contenders watching every inch of everything, trying to put themselves in a position for a shot here in the final 100 miles. Benny, there's even more stuff going on, isn't there?
There really, you know, we talked about it at the very beginning of the show. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a new spotter today, Danny Culler, and you know what? I think Jr. kind of likes what he has to say.
Danny. Yeah. I know you've been doing the spot for a while, but yeah, I really like how you spot. You do a good job.
Oh, thanks.
There he is. Guy with a red hat, Danny Culler.
Spotted for his dad. I was going to say like father, like son, but father liked and son likes, I guess. How are the Coca-Cola Racing family? How they are faring today here at Homestead? Pretty good.
Not too bad, yeah.
Shabby at all. But Tony Stewart, how long can he stay in front of Greg Biffle with those 4 fresh tires? We'll see.
Elliott Sadler's gone back to the garage after the crash damage that brought out this last caution. Here we go, back racing. 107 laps to go. Just about to tick off 250 miles here at Homestead.
Boy, can't say. Matt wants that lap back, doesn't he? Or one of them, anyway.
He's got 3 of them to make up.
Well, there's one.
Kenseth a flat tire under the green flag earlier and came down pit road directly off the track without using the access road. There's Gordon busting out of traffic back in line.
24 by the 97, down on the low line.
And by the 1, and looking for more.
And Weber, you know, these guys are probably feeling and hearing every little thing about those race cars now, aren't they?
Absolutely. And in fact, just to follow up the tire story, a set from the 38, the Yates team, part of that Yates Roush engine package, just showed up with a 97 there.
Oh, man, look at that. Right in front of them both.
And that was Mark Martin who just dove out behind the 0-1 car. And Gordon,
here.
no! Oh, man.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, thank you, Joe is right.
Because Joe gave him a lot of room right there. Did not have
trouble.
Oh, that's Casey Kane. The field scatters. Travis Kvapil to the inside wall. Oh! And the outside wall. And they got through another one.
Holy cow.
I'll tell you, Travis Kvapil in that 06 car, he turned that baby sideways, running about 180 miles an hour. See him moving around in the car.
Yeah, window net's down. Letting the rest of you guys know he's okay.
Junior get a piece of that?
He was right in the middle of it. Looks fairly clean right there.
Well, let's see. There we see Jeff Gordon. Kurt Busch.
Wow, they...
What's it? And Junior just goes right above the 9 car. I don't think he had any damage.
Oh, boy. That car wouldn't stop. Kvapil's. So what set the 9 apart? All right, he just
got high and got loose.
the racetrack.
That's a scary part right there. When a car comes right back on across the racetrack like that, oncoming traffic, it's very scary. Oh, that's why he got turned sideways.
Back her down, back her down, back her down, back her down. Watch it now, watch it now. Stay out, stay out.
On board Carl Edwards.
Now watch the white car up on the right. Up.
In front of you, slow it down, baby. Keep going, stay. Good job, good job.
Bobby Hudson, the spotter for the 99.
Here's our Kurt cam.
There's Mark Martin there as well. 6 car.
Got three of the contenders almost in a crash.
These guys are hating restarts right now. You know they are.
If one of these guys ends up with a big trophy at the end of the day, it may take them a while to catch their breath and be able to talk. 104 to go here in South Florida. Pace cars off, green flags up here in Homestead. Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Bobby Labonte, Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray, the top 5. Black flag for the race leader.
Tony Stewart has been black flag.
That's what I'm hearing.
Too slow on the restart.
Wow. That's big.
The restart before that had been waved off because Tony Stewart was not keeping up with the pace car. So that's why they put the pace car back out front. They issued a warning to Tony. And apparently you're supposed to stop weaving your car back and forth when you're in turn 3 on the lap to the restart. Not apparently. That's the instructions they gave out in the driver's meeting.
Right.
And Tony was still weaving his car coming off turn 4 down to the restart, so they black flagged him.
So that's why, because he was still weaving, not because he was too slow.
Right.
Okay.
There we see him back and forth trying to clear those tires of debris.
They told him, stop doing that at that time, and there was the restart.
So he will be called in for a pass-through penalty, and that's going to put Greg Biffle back out in front of this race. If Tony doesn't pit this time, they show him another flag. It is a black flag with a white caution. Caution for debris.
See it right there in the middle of the racetrack. So,
but you can't pass now. Biffle can't go by now. The caution flag's out.
Who's that hit it? Jeff Green hit the debris.
Can you serve your penalty now under the yellow?
And yeah, you serve the penalty under the yellow, but here's also the question. Where was Matt Kenseth in relation to Stewart when the caution was called for and the field was frozen? I think he's going to be called in front of Stewart and get one of those laps back.
I think you're right.
Wow. Meantime, here's the 9th yellow flag. These have been kind of eventful, these restarts, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you're right. They have given Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, a lap back. So now he's going to be 2 down.
Dale Jarrett's your lucky dog. Put him back on the lead lap.
Well,
plenty of time to get to the front.
And Tony Stewart will come in and pit lane is open.
Now, if everybody else pits, we're going to have to figure out this Stewart penalty thing, too.
It looks like they're all pitting.
Exactly, because so far he hasn't been penalized or anything.
Bobby Labonte stays out. Newman stays out. Gordon stays out. Where's Kurt Busch? Junior stays out. I think Kurt's coming in.
Yeah, Kurt Busch is in.
And Jimmy Johnson's coming in. Now this is going to make things interesting.
This is going to get interesting.
All these guys have to stop once again. They can make it. They cannot make it from here the rest of the way.
Bold call by Robbie Loomis, though, to leave Jeff Gordon out there.
Yes, it was. Marty.
And Vinny, the 16 car, Greg Biffle, can definitely make it on one more stop. Greg does not want any changes to the chassis. They call that triple Indy, that trick pit stop again. They're going to have the gas man help pull the tire to make this stop faster for the 16, Bill.
Watching the 48 of Jimmy Johnson getting fuel only. They'll top off with fuel and then send him out. The 97 will be here for a while. Kurt Busch is complaining about the same problem with the right front that they had last time. They changed right side tires. The right front is from the 2 car of Rusty Wallace, not from the set the 97 started with. Waiting on fuel. They told him we will wait on fuel. They were going to check the wheels. Then they sent him back out. Now they will look at that right front again.
And you know what, Bill? When something like that happens to a driver, you start feeling every little vibration and every little thing wrong with that race car now, anticipating that it's going to happen again or something else is going to happen.
We have identified the debris.
Yeah, there's so much force of air coming off these cars that it blows the light cover off the light.
Wow. When it hit that 31 car, it jumped up in the air, didn't it?
It's like a sun shield over the top of the caution lights.
Oh, wow. It's just a piece of tin, but certainly it would cut a tire.
That's what it looks like.
And that one hasn't broken off yet.
But it might.
That's at the start-finish line.
Racing now at 90 laps to go. Bobby Labonte is now the leader. Tony Stewart.
We got a bobble on the restart here on the straightaway.
Jimmy Johnson duck into the inside. He's the bottom car in that 4 wide right there.
Big time. Somebody either missed a shift or whatever, and everybody went to avoid and almost a wreck. 41 car, Casey Mears, trying to get underneath Bobby Labonte.
Somebody's going to get their heart broken on one of these restarts, because sooner or later one of these championship contenders is going to get caught up in some of this mess.
And these cars are starting to drive down in turn 1, like you talked about yesterday, Wally. Sun is going to be a problem here pretty soon.
Yeah, this is yesterday at this time. Now, it's a little bit cloudier right now than it was yesterday, but actually there would be a guy on the right side of me going into the corner, and I could not see that car for at least 1 second. That's how bad the glare was going down into turn 1.
This is for 12th place, Mark Martin on Martin Truex.
And watch this as Mark goes down the straightaway into turn 1. Glare's not too bad right now. It doesn't look like, Wally.
It's a lot worse from inside that car looking through the windshield, I bet. Dirty windshield. We can clean our cameras. Marty.
Fuel only on the stop for Mark Martin. He said, you know what, I'm just getting frustrated because we can't run long enough to tell if our car's good or not. So I can't tell you what to change when we do stop because we haven't had that many green flag laps.
Yeah, Marty, these guys have to start getting busy. I mean, I know they're trying to do everything they can get through traffic, but with all these yellows, they're just losing every green lap of opportunity. There's a shot right there. See how bad that glare is?
You're right. Inside the car, it is better. And it's worse, I should say.
Yeah, and you got a dirty windshield. It's really, really tough right now. But as Marty was saying, you got to get some green laps. I mean, man, every time there's a yellow, you can't race anybody.
It's Mark is running night. Yeah, we had green at lap 131, caution at 148. Green at 151, caution at 157. Green at 160, caution at 164. Green at 170, caution at 174.
Now look at this.
Carl Edwards goes up the hill. Jimmy Johnson makes it 3 wide off the corner. Wow, that is a great race car to be able to do that.
Yep.
Talking about the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Man, that's smooth. That is smooth.
Let's see, that's going to pick Jimmy up 2 spots in that one move, so put him up to 10th now.
Every car you go by, that's 5. That's 5. More points.
And Kurt Busch is back in 18th right now. So there it is with 85 laps to go. For the race lead, here comes Newman.
Newman gonna get the spot. Matt, what is Bobby Labonte saying about his car right now?
Bobby's pretty happy with the car, and you heard him in our Discover Card countdown to green. As the 12 tries on the inside, he has not won a race since this event 1 year ago. So desperately wants to end this season on a positive note. Give this team, morale-wise, a high note going into the offseason. He won the season finale, Bill, in 96, 97, and 03.
Well, Matt, checking out the 12 car of Ryan Newman, your race leader. He's had a problem with the handling. It's been loose, and he says he really can't drive that race car loose. He also thought he had a vibration in the brake system. That doesn't seem to be bothering him right now. The car has gotten neutral. It's gotten better. The thing about Ryan is he's very determined. He's talked over with Matt Borland about the tire wear. Matt said everything looks even, so if that 12 car gets out front, look out. He's tough to catch up there.
Well, he's got the lead now. We'll see if anybody can catch him. Upon further review.
Yeah, Casey Mears trying to get to the pits, and he's trying to get to the pits, and here comes Jeff Burton, tries to go underneath him and clips him. And then the right rear tire basically peels off of Jeff's car as he hits the apron. Marty.
Well, Wally, Pat Tryson got the 5 bonus points you wanted. What's the plan from now, though?
We're just, you know, we couldn't go the distance there, so we're waiting for a caution when we go to distance, make one more stop, and try to win the race. That's what we came here to do with the Viger Ford Taurus, and hopefully it'll work out.
Mark Martin in the lead. Matt.
Robbie and Brian White still talking things over. Are you gaining on the tightness?
Yeah, the car's getting better and better. He's really getting happy with it extremely when we were up front in that clean air. We thought Chevrolet and this race team were digging away and working towards that championship. That drive for 5 is on right now, buddy.
So where do you stand now from here to the finish?
We got to get everything we can get, every lap.
Fuel-wise?
We might have to make one more. Depends how many cautions they have there. We're getting great fuel mileage. Guys are doing a great job on it.
Bill. With Chad Canals, crew chief for Jimmy Johnson. How is it now?
Car's pretty decent. You know, obviously track position's a bit of a struggle just getting up there. Tires aren't falling off as fast as what we would like, but, you know, we'll just see what happens here. We can't quite make it yet. I don't think anybody else can either, so it's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. Are you excited?
Unbelievable.
Mark. Sure. I'll tell you what, this Lowe's team, these guys have done a great job all day. You know, we had a bad pit pick, obviously, because we didn't qualify as well as what we needed to, but we'll see what happens at the end.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, you look at that.
9 points Marcus had in this deal.
With 72 laps to go in the season. Martin leads. Johnson is 11th. Gordon is 12th. Kurt Busch is 19th. And Junior's 13th.
Martin Truex Jr. right there in the second spot. Number 1 car. And Matt Kenseth's in between those two. And Matt is, what, 2 laps down now?
Yep. And let me just update that the first 4, Martin, Truex Jr., Marlin, and Michael Waltrip, that would be Mark Martin and Martin Truex Jr., they did not pit under this caution. That's for position. The teammates. 10th spot at stake there.
Gotta go.
And Johnson just didn't move over, did he? Jeff Gordon didn't move over. And Gordon, give it to Jeff in the 24.
Well, that 10th and 11th, they just traded 4 points. Just swung between those two.
Every single car counts.
Now it's Kurt Busch. 1 point.
But that's going to change here in just a second as Gordon goes by the 12 car.
That's another 4 points if he can get by him.
So that puts him back in front of Busch. For that lap, anyway. And another piece of the light just came off on the straightaway.
I guess it's that piece we saw at the start-finish line earlier.
Yep, right.
That was broken loose.
Past the start-finish line about 75 yards.
And the caution flag is out.
Wow.
Well, I guess we could kind of see that one coming from earlier, huh?
Yeah. See it laying there on the racetrack.
I got a feeling by the time we come back here next year, they'll have a different caution light set up.
Yeah. And there it's gone.
Yeah.
The one that we said was loose earlier.
We showed you that wiggling the last time it showed you it's loose. It's not there anymore.
And you know, I mean, you don't realize how much air comes out. If you stand like in the starting stand when the car's going underneath, I mean, it's just like a blower blowing straight up. So there's a lot of air that comes off the tops of these cars, and it's just ripping these I don't know what you call it, sun visors or whatever off these lights.
Now then, we're getting into a situation that a lot of cars can make it on fuel. Wow.
Somebody hit this piece of metal, the sun visor off the light, and we think it might be Junior.
Probably. Boom!
Yes, he did.
Now there's oil lines and brake lines and things under that car.
Hot rubber, as in tires.
All right, you ever see Mark Martin? Now, he must feel like he can make it the rest of the way from here, so he is going to make his pit stop.
Junior's going to come in and get that car looked at. But Johnson and Gordon and... where's Kurt? Did he stay out or did he come in? Kurt stayed out too.
The clean air. They want to be in that clean air, those guys, Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, one of these calls of when to pit, when to not pit may end up winning or losing somebody a championship. It's all about track position now. Marty?
Alan, that's why those crew chiefs make all the money. Mark Martin's team is going to be just a little bit short. Pat Tryson told him on the radio, we're going to have to hope for some caution laps. No changes to the chassis, though. Dave?
Lots of changes for Junior. He said, guys, give me my car back. It's still really loose. They're going to make a chassis adjustment there in the back. Air pressure as well for Junior. And hopefully that piece of debris went back out from under the car. He knows he ran over it.
Yeah, we know it went out from under the car because we saw it on the front stretch.
Looks like maybe the front is cracked. Just the right side of the bumper. See, there's a crack right there under the light. I think that's where he hit it.
How about Jeff Gordon, Matty?
Basically, the situation for Jeff Gordon under green, they are 6 laps short. They need about 12 caution flag laps to make it on one more stop. So Jeff stayed out, hoping to get one more shot at maybe leading and getting those 5 bonus points. They were questioning whether to go with a gas only on this stop, but they kept him out.
So in other words, if he gets 12 laps of caution, he does not have to stop, right, Matt?
Then he can make it on one more stop.
Oh, he's got to stop again?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Well, then Mark is sitting in a pretty good position then, if that's the case.
Mark has got to be planning on going the rest of the way, or he would not have stopped.
Right.
That was 67 to go, which is 100 miles for Mark Martin. We'll see where he lines up for this restart in a second. Okay. Once is a freak thing. Twice.
It's ridiculous.
And so they're going to go around and check all those visors over the caution lights around the racetrack and make sure we don't have any more hanging loose.
You may as well just take them off.
Mr. Weber, your turn.
Well, it's going to be interesting, something to think about. You're on the outside, the very outside of your fuel window. That's Jack Roush in the hat, the owner of Roush Racing, Jimmy Fennig, the crew chief for Kurt Busch. He's talking to his spotter about how long this caution is going to be. What they're doing, Benny, is they're second-guessing themselves on not coming down pit road, and they are talking about making a pit stop late in this caution flag period. You don't want to stay out if you think it could end up costing you the championship.
Hey, Bill, you know what Jack Roush's degree is in?
What?
Mathematics.
How about that? Same as Alan's.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I couldn't get in there fast enough.
Except Jack, he graduated the head of the class. Well, Alan,
yeah,
you did.
Marty.
Jack taught the class.
Bail me out here, Marty.
I can't help you on your math, Alan. That's your problem. But Pat Tryson's math works very well. They're very happy. The opposite of his teammate, Kurt Busch. They think they made the right call. And this, the guys checking the lights, playing right into their hands. The more caution laps they get, the more likely they can make it all the way to the end. They do not, BP, plan on pitting again today.
I didn't think so. When I saw him coming on that access road, I said, they are going to try to make it the rest of the way.
Mark is back in 23rd place now. So that changes the points picture as they run under the caution. By the way, a record-setting 11th caution here at Homestead. Look at this. Now Kurt back on top. Not by much, despite the fact that he's running back in 9th position at the moment. We'll be back for the restart.
Still under caution here in Homestead, but the championship contenders are coming down pit road. They have reached their fuel window. They think they can get to the end if they top off now. So they are coming down pit road, 3 of them for what should be their final stop of the day if the race stays green and if the car stays together. Matt Yoakum.
24 is in. Jeff Gordon says, free me up. They decided as well to go with tires when they're going to top this car off with fuel. After after going back over the calculations, Bill, they feel like they're close, but they can make it from here.
The 48 of Jimmy Johnson has already left. He got fuel only. He was right behind the 97 of Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch and his crew chief talked it over. There's Jimmy Fennig right there. He decided we can reach the end. We're going to go ahead and put 4 tires on and send you back out. Good luck. Burns.
Same decision for the 8 crew. They also made a further wedge adjustment on the car, trying to help that car at the start of this run. But fuel for Junior, he should be good to the end.
How great is this?
And that's the way it should be. Let's decide it on the racetrack.
And they're all together right now.
That's perfect. Yes, sir.
All together.
And now they're all behind Mark Martin because he pitted earlier in the caution, and he stays out now. Pat Tryson's just got to be rubbing his hands together down there. So how did we get to this point in today's Ford 400 here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway? Well, with a lot of yellow flags.
On the first lap, it starts when Hermie Sadler, the 02 car, gets bumped. Also, Mike Bliss spun in the 0.
Jimmy Johnson started 39th. He had to dodge that. And then this at lap 6. Jeff Burton. That was Boris Said who got spun to trigger the caution.
Seems like all the championship contenders have been dodging something. Here's Mark Martin.
Almost had a moment up in 3 and 4.
Almost had a wreck. Lap 93, Kurt Busch running second at the time.
Breaks a wheel. And watch this tire leave as he enters pit road. Almost runs into the pit wall.
Oh, man, that's close. I think he even brushed it there. Looking at that again.
Very close.
So then they had a messed up pit stop back at lap 113. Dropped Kurt all the way back to 26th place in line. A little miscommunication as to whether it was a 2 or 4 tire change.
Then we get Elliott Sadler gets loose. Getting off a 4. Hard into the inside wall. Ended his day.
Junior follows that closely off turn 4 and saw that spin happen.
Just missed that one, then just missed this one, Junior did, as the pack comes down on Casey Kane's spinning car.
And Junior actually got in the back of Waffle, the 06 car. There it is. Turned him in the inside wall and damaged the nose of the 8 car.
60 laps to go, less than 100 miles at Homestead. Mark Martin 17th, Johnson 19th, Earnhardt Jr. 20th, Gordon 21st, Kurt Busch 22nd, and Rusty Wallace the race leader.
And McMurray right behind him. Jimmy McMurray in the 42.
Now if this thing goes green flag from here to the end, at 267, some cars will run out of fuel. Everyone will not make it.
Rusty Wallace has never finished better than 12th at this racetrack before. 1 win this season, Martinsville, Virginia, back in the spring. Now Tony Stewart, 3 wide.
Man, he's been doing that for the past 25, 30 laps.
Well, remember that black flag penalty. There's probably a little driving
He's
in
on a mission. Yeah. He is on a mission.
Tony's in 9th, and he's trying to take
That is some hard racing right there. These guys know what they have to do right now.
It's going to be for about 16th place with Gordon and Johnson side by side. It is 16th and 17th.
Gordon trying him on the bottom again. Just can't do it.
And remember that Jeff has to finish in front of Jimmy, because he started the day behind him by 3 points. And he loses the tiebreaker if he only finishes 1 spot in front of him, so he's got to finish a couple ahead of him if they're this far back in the pack.
I think Jimmy's had the better car most of the day. He just hasn't been able to show it because he's been in traffic all day long.
Jimmy closes the front.
Oh, very loose there. Very loose.
Here comes Jeff.
And that's all it took for Jeff to get at least beside him.
Johnson decided to follow John Andretti, the 14 car, through the corner, and he had to slow up a little bit. When he did, Gordon just drove up on the inside. Now Johnson drives to the inside as Rick Hendrick watches his car go down in turn 1.
There's a lot of trust between drivers right here to be able to race each other this hard, this close. You got to trust who you're driving with.
I mean, these are two cars that work in the same building.
Oh, Johnson decided not to take it 3 wide, and Gordon takes a spot away from Jimmy.
And John Andretti.
Martin taking a look. Yep, underneath Jimmy Johnson. He's got the spot, too. You want to be on the inside. That's a 24 driving away from him, Matty.
Both Chad Canals and Robbie Loomis were joking around today saying if either the 24 or 48 teams wins this championship, both teams, because they are one team together, will stay over and celebrate. Robbie put on sticker, meaning brand new tires, because this weekend a lot of drivers have said sticker tires make the car more free, and that's exactly what Jeff needs to make this run for the championship.
Jeff Gordon's next car to pass will be that 25 of Brian Vickers.
Which he gets a lot of help from. Brian just backs out of the throttle and makes the pass easy for Jeff, since they are teammates.
So that one position between he and Jimmy Johnson is going to put Jeff in front of Jimmy in the points. But Kurt Busch is still ahead of them overall. Kurt's running back in 20th spot right now. That's for 15th place, Mark Martin.
Yep, gonna try to take the spot from Jimmy Johnson. Boy, he's right down on the bottom. Mark's car looks pretty good, Marty.
Getting better the longer he runs, Wally. Now, I've never driven a race car, but there's a radio hung open in Mark Martin's Cruise somewhere. So Mark hears this white noise in his ear, and it's very distracting. It's starting to bother Mark, and I'm sure that's taking his focus away a little bit from what he's having to do in driving the race car.
Yep, you got to either unplug your helmet or turn the radio off, because that is very, very distracting when you're driving a race car. Spotters are important, but you know what? I'd rather do it without a spotter than have that blast into my ear every lap.
And right now, as we watch Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson march forward, Jeff Gordon right now 2 points behind Kurt Busch. 2 points.
There's Brian Vickers with the move over and waves his teammate Jimmy Johnson by. Now Gordon going to work on Scott Wimmer for 12. What about the leader, Kurt Busch, as far as the championship?
He has been struggling trying to get by these cars, and that didn't help anything there as the 15 and 97 made contact.
He obviously felt the 15 should give him a little bit of room. He's driving pretty aggressive there, Bill.
And if they don't give you room, Wally, what do?
You hit him.
You take it, right? Absolutely. When Kurt Busch left pit road under the last caution, he talked to his crew chief, Jimmy Fetting. Kurt said, I'm done with you guys for today. Jimmy said, just stay out there and get all you can get. He's looking at the 8, looking at the inside. Burns.
And going to the inside is Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's been his nemesis today because his car has been so loose. That's one of the reasons why they made that second pit stop under this caution to make sure that the car was not loose, because when you get by those other cars, it gets looser. Now he's in free air, Wall.
Well, Kurt Busch passing cars, and he's got to get by Earnhardt.
That was big right there.
Yeah,
Those
I mean,
passes
there was a
you just
lot
saw.
of cars just in a bunch.
That's right, because he got 2 positions, and that's 6 points.
He got John Andretti and Michael Waltrip in that set of corners. And so that puts Kurt up to 19th place.
But that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to get by these cars and get in some clean air so he can go as he takes the spot from Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's going to change that.
And that's going to change that, exactly.
That makes it 8 points in front of Jeff Gordon.
Every single spot is so important, right? Every one of these drivers knows it now, too. They've got to drive harder than they've driven all year, these next 47 laps.
Now, Jeff Gordon, all right, let's check on the lead first. Greg Biffle is after Rusty Wallace.
Well, that 2 car has been very, very good, although the 16 has been as good. Marty, can the 16 make it on fuel?
They cannot, BP. They're going to have to pit one more time. Greg came on the radio into the last caution, said, you know what? Our only hope is if we get a caution with 25 to go, get 4 new tires and the fuel we need, that's our only chance to win the race. He's anxious to get to the front because he says, in traffic, this car is just terrible. I can't do anything with it when I'm behind other cars. And you see the trouble he's having passing Rusty Wallace, but he has a faster car.
And that's with every car, Marty, because that's just the way these cars are nowadays. You've got to be out front. You don't want anybody in front of you. If nobody's in front of you, you're...
This is outstanding. Tony Stewart turns under. Just could not quite get the turn well enough.
A little bit loose.
Tony Stewart was the race leader on the lap 170 restart when he was black flagged by NASCAR for not stopping, weaving his car beyond turn 3 where you're supposed to knock it off. Went all the way back to 26th.
Here he comes for the lead.
And Stewart was doing everything he could to get that 12 car a little bit loose up in 3 and 4. Got the spot. Oh, and he slides up high. Here comes a 12 underneath him.
Little crossover.
That's good racing. Dave, what's Tony Stewart saying about his car?
Nothing. He's driving too hard right now, Wally. Now, they took 4 tires at a lap 200 stop. And remember, Tony visited this track while it was being reworked. Matt told us that story last year. He did so well his rookie year, winning the race here, then the year following, but that was on the old flag configuration. He's gotten to know the bank configuration pretty well.
And you really wouldn't see this kind of racing on the old configuration. This is what this racetrack was built for.
Bill, how about Ryan Newman? What are they saying?
He's in that Tony Stewart category. A little busy to push that radio button, but they have worked on this car all day, Benny. First loose, then a little tight, then working with 4 tires, and then with 2 tires, they got him out front. They caught cautions to get him in the fuel window. Now racing Stewart for the win.
And as those guys are racing,
Dale Jarrett, we might all start talking about that 88 car.
It's allowed Jeff Gordon to chop some ground down also on this front 3.
Fastest car that last lap, Jeff Gordon.
There he was.
Gordon 4th, Johnson 8th, Kurt Busch 9th. Kurt leads by about 4 points right now. That's 4 positions. Scott Wimmer in the 22 is running 7th rather was. Johnson's got that now, and now Kurt needs to get by him to keep up. Couldn't do it. Not yet. Yikes.
Still 4 points.
And Jimmy Johnson does not want to see the 97 in his mirror. He wants to see that 97 disappear in his mirror if he's going to have a shot at beating Kurt Busch in the championship.
Kurt Busch on the inside of Wimmer takes that spot away.
Jimmy tried to put a run on Kevin Harvick. Kevin shut him off.
And Kurt knows, on the other hand, he's got to keep Jimmy Johnson in sight.
Johnson by Harvick, and that's for 6th.
The only guy he can't see the 24. Matt?
Jeff Gordon doing all he can do, trying to give owner Rick Hendrick the 6th championship as an owner. He just keyed the mic and said, guys, that's all I have. That's all I can give you. Right now, it is just pushing so hard in the center of the corner. Robbie said, would it help if we got the 0-1 out of the way in front of you? Jeff came back and said, anything would help.
And the 0-1 gets help from Hendrick Motorsports.
That's right.
Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, the MB2 team using Hendrick engines, Hendrick chassis. And Joe again running in 31st place, a few laps off the pace. This is for 7th place. Kurt Busch trying to get around Kevin Harvick. If he passes him, it's 4 more points to the good for Kurt.
Ooh, drives in there a little bit hard, Benny, and slides up the racetrack.
And I'll tell you what, we have seen Kurt Busch this year do 3 times come off these corners like this at the California Speedway and lose control, spin out by himself.
Challenge for the lead. Ryan Newman back to the inside of Tony Stewart.
And Kurt Busch trying to take by the 29 car.
Oh, wow, Newman slipped up a little bit.
But so did Tony Stewart. Bill Weber.
That 12 car's loose. That's why he slipped up. In fact, a few laps ago, we said it was too loose for him. Maybe it's getting better.
He's got the lead. That's better. And Kurt Busch got through Kevin Harvick.
Life is good for Kurt Busch right now. He's by the 29 car. He has clean racetrack in front of him. 8 points to play with. Yeah, between himself and Jeff Gordon.
Oh, gee, that's a comfort margin. What a day for Kurt Busch.
And he's got a clean racetrack in front of him, too, for a little while anyway.
Way back at lap 91, he was running second. The right front wheel broke on his car. Literally came off as he was trying to get to pit road. He barely missed hitting the butt end of pit wall, but when that tire came off, it brought the caution flag out. He was able to get a new tire put on without losing the lead lap.
That was big that the tire came off, went on the racetrack, and caused the caution flag to come out.
Might be what won him a championship. Certainly helped.
Now, you know he's doing everything he can, but I still think you'd want to know, or at least get some encouragement for the pits on, okay, am I good? How much more do I have to do? Do I have to push it harder? Am I riding in a good spot? Because I'm running a comfortable pace right now. This is one of those a lot of anxiety for a race car driver in this situation right now for Kurt Busch.
So there's the leader, Newman. Second place, Stewart. Third place, Jarrett. Here comes Gordon. He's running fourth. There's Johnson, who just passed Rudd for fifth. We saw Kurt Busch come through in seventh.
There's Mark, sixth car.
Mark Martin is currently back in the 18th position. And Acarb Jr. is back in 21st.
So the two-tire call on that last caution hadn't worked out for them.
And right now the NASCAR folks have to be happy because the Dodge is leading, the Chevrolet is in second, the Ford is in third.
And Jeff Gordon, we heard the report from his pit a minute ago, said that's all he's got. So unless Kurt Busch starts to slip back, Jeff Gordon needs to find a way to get a little more.
Dave, is somebody going to run out of gas?
BP, it's a possibility with the 88. Now, they think they can go all the way, but they pitted last on lap 192. We've had a lot of caution, but 75 laps is still a lot to ask here. Dale Jarrett running strong in third, but I would say close on fuel. If he drops back, that could be another position for Gordon.
You know who else last pitted on lap 192? Guy leading the race.
Yeah, I just don't think the fuel situation is complete. Gone. I think some of these guys may run out of fuel.
Ryan Newman at 192. Tony Stewart pitted at 200.
Bill, about the 12s. Can he make it?
Yeah, they said, especially with the caution laps, Benny, be all right. But if there's one team you know you got to take with a grain of salt, it's Portland in that 12 bunch, don't you?
Yeah, but then again, if there's one team that's proven they can get the fuel to the finish a lot of times, that was a story at the end of last.
You know what, if you want some, that's his ace in the hole right there, is having somebody in front of him. So he knows at least he's got one guy that he's going to gain a position if he needs it, if it comes right down to it, before the end of the race.
Plus, trouble, Martin Truex Jr.
Right rear tires disintegrated on that one car and blowing the quarter-pound off, and caution flag is out. This might be the break that Greg Biffle needs to win the
15 laps to go.
They're going to have to hurry if he's got a chance to win the race.
This is also going to close up Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Kurt Busch together on the restart.
And it's going to make things frantic. Just frantic in the final laps.
I think Jimmy Fitting is... he's had it.
Just
he wants it to be over.
He's aged
We only got 15 laps to go right there. Staying out.
He's aged a dozen years in a day.
Yeah. He wants it to be over.
The other thing I was thinking about when they let the 16 go, when Kurt Busch let Greg Biffle go, I think they maybe also felt like that Biffle had enough speed to go up and catch Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, and if he could put them another spot farther back, well, that's...
You know what? Biffle's going to be... He's going to be roughing it up right now with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, because those two cars are directly ahead of him, and you know Biffle's going to race them hard.
And he should have better tires on his 16 car than those cars have.
12th caution flag. Check that 13th caution flag of this race.
It's like Truex is already slowing down. He feels like he's got the flat going into turn 3, and there's where the tire completely comes apart. Look how much damage a tire coming apart. Is that unbelievable?
was running in 18th place at the time. Mark Martin on pit road. Marty?
The theory, Alan, they really didn't have much to lose. 4 tires and fuel for Mark. He's pretty happy with the chassis, but obviously very upset with where they are on the racetrack and in the championship standings. Car's been pretty good, but they will not win the championship today. Dave?
Junior's car is chattering the left front in the corners. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Also put a spring rubber in the right rear and try to correct it. Junior thinks there's something wrong with the car. His crew thinks they can fix it and make it pick up a few positions before this race is over. Left side tires going on, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. leaves pit road.
To go.
Here goes Gordon diving to the inside of Jarrett, inside of Tony Stewart.
And he's got an even check down on the bottom. He's going to be blocked.
And Biffle to the inside by Johnson, looking for a spot on
He's blocked. He turns Joe, gets Joe sideways.
Oh. And here comes Kurt Busch diving for the bottom.
Great move. Great move by the 24. Biffle can't make it happen that time.
9 laps to go. Jeff Gordon is 4th. Jimmy Johnson is 5th.
Greg Biffle tries to look on the outside. He's there. Outside of Jimmy Johnson. Takes the spot.
Big help for Kurt Busch.
Yep.
Now Kurt running just a couple of spots behind Johnson.
If Kurt Busch, the 97 car, if he can stay there, the championship is his.
Kurt lost the spot on that restart. Brendan Gaughan got by him. The 77 car, the yellow machine there.
And there goes Biffle on the outside of Jeff Gordon. Takes that spot.
So Greg Biffle on the opening lap of the race yielded to Kurt Busch. They started on the front row together, let Kurt lead a lap for 5 bonus points, and now he's helping out his teammate in another way.
And now Kurt can see the 2 guys in front of him. He can see Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, maybe not right now down the front stretch.
I can't. Nobody can see anything down the front stretch, but now he can see them.
Yeah.
Brendan Gaughan in between. Brendan will probably let Kurt Busch go.
So close. And it's got to be so agonizing for Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson to look in that rearview mirror and see that 97 car hanging with him.
There, Kurt Busch goes on the inside of Brendan Gaughan. He'll take that spot away. Perfect spot for Kurt Busch. There's a 48-24 directly in front of him.
See the competition.
Kurt to 7th. What a rally for this 97 team in this race from the big problems they had earlier back at lap 91. Fell all the way to 28th at the time. Then had another long pit stop, fell to 26th. And they've come back into the top 10.
And he's come back a few times this year. Those guys have turned their day around.
Kurt Busch is saying, please let this be over.
Biffle taking a look underneath Jarrett for the 3rd spot.
Biffle might end up winning this race.
Yeah, I was going to say, he is flying right now.
4 laps to go.
He's got the spot.
A lot of ground to make up to catch Newman and Stewart, but boy, he is hauling. Greg Biffle's led the most laps today. Right now, all eyes on the championship. And Kurt Busch in position. But remember, this race last year, Bill Elliott had the race won on the final lap. Blew a tire. By the time he came across the finish line, he lost 33 points.
And it's not like we haven't seen some flat tires today.
There's only 19 points between the top 2.
Oh,
now, Ryan Newman,
the leader.
Caution flag is out.
We're going to have a green-white checker.
Sure looks that way.
The race leader, Ryan Newman, right front.
Yep. Another right front tire. Just talking about it. Not over till it's over. He wishes it was over.
Jimmy said, please let this be over.
No kidding.
And he's only 20 years old.
He'll feel like he's 100 by the time this day's over. So the race leader with 4 laps to go, less than 4 laps to go, winds up in the wall.
You ever see Ryan Newman, the 12 car, going down in turn 1, and the right front tire goes flat, and in that safer barrier he goes.
Oh, man.
Not another restart.
Okay, calm down. It'll be okay.
All right, the signal's been given. 1 lap to go. That's going to be a green flag on 269. Matt.
BP, Jeff Gordon, 4-time series champion, starts in the 4th position. Robbie Loomis just told him, a win can still do it for you, meaning the championship. Go after it. He says 10-4, we'll do it.
Dale Jarrett is down low on the banking.
88 says he's tight on fuel.
And maybe...
Just barely, but fuel pressure's down to 3 right now.
Fuel pressure down to 3 pounds.
Maybe going to be a problem here on this restart.
I'm running at full now.
Okay, well, that's really the best thing that can happen right now for Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, not Dale Jarrett, of course, but...
He's out of gasoline.
Yeah.
We didn't come to points race.
That's Mike Ford, the crew chief. So they got to get Dale Jarrett's car off the track before they can restart the race.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to coast to pit road.
That's what I mean. So they're going to have to... They should be extending this caution because there's no way he's getting back.
I don't think there's any access roads either back there. You can...
31's going to come up and push you there.
There you go.
41's going to push you here. The 88 slow.
That'll help. So we are coming to the green. A 2-lap race for the win and for the championship. A little overtime. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch behind Tony Stewart and Greg Biffle. Who wins and who wins the title?
Tony brought him down. Pretty nice. Here they go.
Gordon looking for second on Biffle.
But Biffle.
And Biffle looking for the lead on Tony Stewart. Johnson 3 wide to the outside.
How about that move for Biffle? Hung on to it and took the lead at the same time.
And Kurt Busch making sure they all don't end up in a smoking pile.
Jimmy Johnson second. Jeff Gordon trying outside Tony Stewart. Will he get it? I think he will when he gets down on the straightaway. Got the momentum.
White flag, 1 lap to go. Look at this. Kurt might get challenged by some of these guys coming up behind him.
He certainly doesn't need to lose those positions.
Jimmy Johnson to second. Jeff Gordon third. Kurt Busch in 5th and trying to hang on to that spot. If he stays there, he wins the title.
May see a Hail Mary here by the 20 car. Right on the back bumper of Jeff Gordon. Don't think he can do it.
Checkered flag is up. Greg Biffle wins the Ford 400 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon finish 2nd and 3rd. It's not going to be enough. Kurt Busch is the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
We did it. I'm going to come and get you by the end of pit road. Everybody come with me on the track and push me.
What a relief.
Wow. That's all I can say.
That's good stuff.
Wow.
Doesn't get any better than that.
8 points.
He had all... Man, it's hard racing.
I think Mr. Weber's wandered in the middle of the celebration there.
With the championship, crew chief Jimmy Fennick just got a handshake from Chad Canals, Kyle Busch. They're partying at BB Rubbles for you. Congratulations, you're the championship-winning crew chief.
I'll tell you, this is a championship team. As a championship driver, I mean, it's awesome to be here.
We talked earlier in the garage this morning. You said you felt you could do this. You have the car to do it. A handshake from Robbie Loomis.
I'll tell you, these guys, they did not quit. We had trouble, everything else, but we came out, and Kurt
Busch is awesome. He is a champion.
Go celebrate, Jimmy.
Thanks, guys.
They call him one of the most loyal and one of the most faithful crew chiefs in the garage. He stays with an organization even though he's had offers to go elsewhere. Jimmy Fennig will celebrate with his crew and his driver here in Homestead.
Little high five there in the car from his teammate Greg Biffle.
Which did, by the way, a great job on that last lap. He got hit and then made the pass for the win. Very strong.
So the chase for the championship is over, and here's how it ended up.
8 points.
Man, that's 2 positions.
Well, Alan, this race was 400 miles, and the season 36 races long. But it's been a much longer road to the championship for 26-year-old Kurt Busch. Started driving in the Southwest Tour Series for Star Nursery after promising driver Chris Trickle was killed in a drive-by shooting. Took that team to the top. Was discovered by Jack Roush, moved to the Truck Series. Then got his opportunity in the Cup Series. It's his brother Kyle Busch, who had a shot at the Busch Series championship this year. They are a family of racers. It's their father that led them on this road. And now it's time for Kurt Busch to climb out of the car and celebrate his championship. Car owner Jack Roush ready for his second championship celebration. And here comes Kurt Busch in front of his fans, friends, and crew at Homestead. The 2004 Nextel Cup Series champion. He won the chase. He doesn't care how heavy it is. He could hold it forever.
Who are you? You're not part of my team.
I'm just here to hang out with you. Kurt, congratulations. You're the 2004 Series champion.
Unbelievable deal. This is what a team does to win a championship. They persevere on a day such as this. All year long, we've done things like this. Whether we put ourselves in a hole or whether we had a small problem, I just can't believe we were able to overcome all of that turmoil today.
Tell me about, first of all, the right front wheel.
Again, it had a big vibration those last 50 laps, and it held on. But I'd like to put a cap on today and move on to what we did this year as a team, which was unbelievable. And this championship is for Jimmy Fennig. I can't believe it. For our team, for everybody that's put work into this car, Jimmy's done the deal. And that's why I'm choked up, is because there's heavy hearts in the NASCAR community with what we had to go through a few weeks ago. And with Hendrick and the problem they had. I love them truly, and I want to donate anything that I can from this championship to them. And my little brother was affected by this, so it hit home for us. So unbelievable.
His brother drives for Hendrick Motorsports in the Busch Series. A refreshing drink and a deep breath. It'll take a while to set in, but you'll have a big celebration in New York with these hard-working guys up here on stage, won't you?
It's unbelievable for our sponsors and everybody that gets a chance to come to New York.
And that Jack Roush guy?
Unbelievable. Jack is just a true competitor. He is a racer from the word go, and that's what I modeled myself after when I got to this point. And he's helped me get to this point. I was so far behind in 2001, made so many mistakes. My sponsors stuck with me. We got some great associate sponsors, and we pulled through.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Bill.
Rick Allen back here with Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton. So Greg Biffle wins the race, but ultimately the big prize goes to Kurt Busch.
Yeah, without a doubt. Rewatching this race really brought back the memories. I hurt my feelings a little bit. I was with the 24 that day, and if that tire doesn't go down pit road, we could have a completely different champion. And this was the first time that the chase really funneled into Homestead and decided a champion, and that's what we see again today.
Yeah, it was a great race. You know, we had 5 teams going into that race that had a mathematical chance. Right. It was really down to 3, and it was so close, and that's what made it so dramatic. You know, if that tire moves that far, you know, one way or the other, we have a different champion. So it shows you that even in racing, you know, a sport we think about being just high speed and close contact, right, it's a game of inches. You make one small mistake, and it can catapult into something big. They got extremely lucky. They were fast. They put themselves in position to win, but they got extremely lucky that that tire went where it went.
One thing that this race reminded me of was this is the first attempt at the chase for the Sprint Cup. Now we see how it has evolved. We have 4 teams that come to Homestead with a chance to win this championship. It all started with this first chase race.
It did, and the drama created there is much like what we have today. We have 4 teams that go into the last race today with a real shot to win the race, and every team has to deliver. Every team has to bring 100%. If you have any small mistake, it's probably going to bite you. They hope they get a break like that.
That's right.
But you know, that you shouldn't count on that. It's so close, and that's what makes it so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it took a few years of tweaking the chase, but now we have a Game 7 moment every time we go to Homestead to the end of the year, and it has really created a championship weekend. I know we crown the champion for all 3 series, but the Cup Series with the chase, knowing that 4 guys go in tied, is really, really exciting every year, and I expect this year to be no different.
And the chase for the Sprint Cup lives right here on NBC. Thanks for watching NASCAR Classics. Be sure to tune in this weekend for the return of NASCAR to NBC. Saturday at 6:30 with the Xfinity Subway Firecracker 250 on NBCSN. And then Cup Racing returns to NBC with the Coke 0400 Sunday, 7 Eastern on NBC.